Okay, so while we're waiting, something that I wanted to do is um, those of you who had the time to do to gather the ref and do the breakdown would be great if you're up for it. If you take over the screen share and walk everybody through your refs and what you spotted, the stuff that jumped out to you. It's a great way if you're up for it to present to the class, and then we can talk about it so that it's like it will be more of a discussion as everybody gets into it. Um, that being said, I'm gonna put one on the spot. Are you up for it?
Is my mic working?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do it. All right. So,
Cool. Okay.
so I pulled a couple YouTube spiral of videos for kittens and stuff like that, looking for feline reference. But this one I thought, here, I'm going to disable audio for this. This first one I just found really, really cool because it was a good shot of just seeing a side view
Yeah.
of a bobcat. I think everybody's probably seen this on the internet at some point.
Yeah.
And I think it lends to, I think, to be a good one to practice the body mechanics.
Yeah.
I was trying to determine, like I always get a little I guess confused or lost on like trying to determine my keys whenever I'm looking at this type of reference for creatures. So I just kind of go, I just mark them by change of direction, or if it's the second that the character's going to go a different direction, I'll mark it as a key. But it was just, I was surprised how little change there is when the cat's in the air. It's like just literally almost like a single oppose translating over.
Yeah.
And a lot of the magic for me was happening like right in the takeoff.
Yeah.
And just how focused the animals are, the cats are.
Yeah.
So this one seemed just really cool to be able to play with bouncing ball, basically, is what it
Yeah.
seemed like to me. This is my favorite one here. I don't remember the name of this cat, but it's like the smallest cat in the world, I guess. And I just saw a lot of cool things, more body mechanics wise, but more opportunities to exaggerate acting with this. Like I mean, they already have it framed very beautifully. So just thinking about like if the cat's more focused on sounds that are happening.
Yeah.
So like when after he dips his toe, if he kind of looks up and starts looking around before he shakes his foot. And then he comes and starts shaking. So I was just exploring kind of what was happening here, more like the how focused the felines are when they're looking at everything than specifically like where the keys are broken down.
One thing that is that I see here is that you see the head movement feels like it's driving everything through the body. It's like when it's turning, the head turns, and then the whole body is like coming with it. Which is the mark of the predator. Like when they focus on something, the head doesn't move that much, deviate from that straight line from the eyes to the prey, and then everything else follows that. This is a great ref.
One thing that I noticed too with the cats in general is that the back usually doesn't move as much as the front. Like I never paid attention until I started watching the videos, just how much. Because I don't know, at one point I always thought of these as two different people, right? When I'm thinking if I'm going to do a walk cycle. And like this guy doesn't move that much, and this guy's the one that's doing it, just moves enough to put this one in position.
Exactly. Yeah. The other one of the characteristics of cats is that they're lazy, and they do the absolute minimum physicality to do something. If they can do it with less, they will. Like they don't spend 1 ounce of energy than what is absolutely required. So that's another observation that it's very nice. Like when you look at their walks even, especially if you look at the lions for the big paw. Now, for that big paw to go from this and then roll and get to the next one, it needs to lift off the ground and so that it can land. But the way they do it, they don't lift up so that the whole paw could roll downward. They do it so that the paw rolls sideways, so that it requires less energy. Basically, they lift it so that it can only pass like this, and then it flops at the end, boom, and then lands. So in all of their physicality, if you pay attention, you can see that they do the absolute minimum required um, to get by.
But yeah, so that was that one. And I noticed that with the lions. The lions was hard to find things where they had a lot of different pacing because they're usually just standing still until they go to kill something.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Lions are very notorious for not doing anything unless, yeah.
And then this one was just, I just found it was really a good video reference on just trying to see how a feline run more than anything. With the dogs, this one was probably my favorite one just because it had the dog do a couple of different things. And again, I think it was more like acting wise, like I just could see this in something where he's trying to pull the guy up and then goes and gets help.
Yeah.
But I don't have the other one here, but I think the one thing I did notice with dogs in general, when they're not trained like this, if they're just your regular household pet, is that they're not like cats at all in terms of conserving energy.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all over the place.
They're all over the place. Yeah.
They're all over the place. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, a few things to. Sorry, one thing that I just saw is that the part when he was pulling the guy by the jacket. Um, remember we talked about what leads and what follows. Looks like the hip and the back leg is doing the driving, and then everything from the front and all the way to the neck, head, and then the jaw is following. So we can't see it here, but we can feel it that the hips is doing the pulling, and then everything else is like a whip effect all the way to the mouth that is pulling the jacket. Cool.
And with the horse, I pulled two that were more just, I was just trying to understand like the mechanics of a horse. And obviously I think just like a run is a good one for me was to kind of understand what was happening. With this, there was a lot of them. I didn't realize how many different types of, this video in particular was an analysis from trainers looking at horses. So they're breaking down like what makes a really bad horse, a racehorse and so on, and the subtle differences of the way that they water. It was an interesting video. I'll show you the YouTube link with you guys if you're interested in it. That one was cool. And then this one was like just an interesting trot. This is so I'm in Colombia right now, and I've seen this at the farms a lot over here, and I'm sure it's in other parts of the world too, but they have these trots that they make the horses do. And they're very, like, it's very specific to this horse showing that they do, but they have to hit at the same time the opposite. Like that's how they determine, and the sound they makes, like these boards that they're on are specific. So you can hear the sound and you can hear the trot when they're doing the shows. So I just thought it was interesting, and it was kind of, it would make for an interesting character.
Yeah.
But I focus more on the cat. I think you can tell.
Yeah.
But it was a good exercise. I definitely got to keep practicing on it and looking and doing more research.
Yeah, I would suggest, like, if you have the time, this is like a ongoing thing, because it doesn't matter. Like with experience, you will be able to spot more. But it's like working out, it's like the more you do it, the more developed your eye would get, and then you would start to see all that subtleties and all the details that an inexperienced eye would not catch, which is basically what we want to observe, so that we can grab it and put it into animation, so that our animation will rise to that through that believability level. So yeah, like for the whole class, if you have the time, every week, like do at least one or two or three, as many as you can, basically. Look at it, break it down, find the key poses. It's just a training for the eye to be able to get better. Cool, very nice. Um, okay, let me share my screen. Okay, and then let me get, how do I close? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, this one, the Bobcat. Yeah, you see one thing. Oh, I've never worked with sync sketch before. But you see the way it comes off of this this bar here. Like the back is staying there, the front paw lands, the second front paw lands. It goes to the first step. Still, the backside is on that wood plank, and then see how much the body is stretching and squashing. From here, like this is, if you say from the base of the neck to the midpoint of the hips, and then see, you can actually see it stretch until here. Now is this distance. From here it's stretching, and cats have the ability to stretch a little bit. That's part of it. Another part of it is the rotation of the hips. You see here the hips are rotated a little bit this way, and as the animal is going, the hips rotate the other way so that it can allow for that stretch. So as the chest is going this way, the hips rotate this way so that it gives it that stretch until here where it drops down. And then of course the jump. Now this is, you see the anticipation happens in two poses. This is, let's say we started in this pose. It comes down to here. There's a little bit of pause, and then goes into the second one, and from there goes. So this is a great detail. For example, if you want to animate this, instead of going A to B, which is the antic, to C, which is the push off, you go first there to antic, keep it there for 5 or 6 frames, and then from there go to a second anticipation, which is a little bit smaller, and then woof. This little detail here would make all the difference if you wanted to animate this. See, boom, boom. And then see from here how much the head is moving during the first 4 frames. Goes here, goes here, goes here. In these 4 frames, the hip is moving from here to here. If you think of the head as one point, the chest and the hip like a separate points of that they're moving, the difference of how much they move within the screen space, and is what's selling one of the main points that's selling the physicality of like a quadruped. Never, not never, very rarely these 3 points move together at the same time and have the same spacing and timing. More often than not, you see something like this, where the head is moving from here to here, screen space. The hip is moving from here to here, which is like 1/3 of the head, because it's a jump and the head wants to lead. And then the hips only kick in, like the legs are still within that anti-cocked up pose until this point, and then in 1, 2, 3 frame go to straight to push off. See, and then see the front arms from here to here. And then yeah, like Juan said, if you show this part in dailies, you would get the feedback of, hey, from this frame to this frame, looks like the whole body is moving together. You have to do something about that. And then the only way to get around it is to pull up the reference and show the supervisor, hey, look, this is actually, this is a good point. Sometimes in animation, if you copy the reality, it would be less believable than if you add something to it. A good example of that is in the Pixar movie Finding Nemo. The clownfish actually only swim with their front fins. The back fin, the tail fin, doesn't do anything with the swimming, for the swim. But the the popular perception of fish is that when they swim with their tail fins. So even though if that's the reality of it, if they would have done it, people would be, oh no, this is wrong. Fish don't swim like this. So they made the choice to go against the reality, to be more believable, which is this case. Like this is here from, like, for this 6 frames, the animal doesn't have much movement, but if you want to animate it, I would probably suggest to the animator that the legs could have more life from here to here. We can bring them a little bit like forward here. Maybe the arms could have more life to them, just to avoid that, because the general audience, when they go to see, they don't know all these details. Yeah, just something to keep in mind. Cool, very nice. Thank you, Juan.
Thank you. I have a quick question on that. If you're doing something then for like VFX where it's supposed to be a little bit more realistic, are you guys still pushing that same thing?
It's
Those type of poses?
it's a very case by case question. Like you have to see it in shot context to be able to judge it. But like for example, in this case, if you have a locked off camera that is not moving, and you have a cat that is doing this jump, it might call attention to itself that in those 5 frames the whole body is moving as one unit, and you don't see different points moving against each other. So yeah, maybe if you have something like this, a wide shot, locked camera, something like this, we would say, okay, now we need to go a little bit further than reality, push the legs, give some more life within this part. But generally, no. Generally, you would go, like, basically go as your ref. Like you would animate the best you can, based on your reference. But yeah, there are cases which we would do that. Cool. Okay, thank you. Who else is up for sharing their refs with the class? No takers? Come on, guys.
I can share mine.
There we go. Arthur.
And yeah, cool. Can you guys see?
Um, you're sharing. You're not sharing, are you?
Yeah. Oh, I think I am.
Oh, yes, there we go.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, like one, like it kind of went a rabbit hole of a dogs and cats video, and yeah, it was really hard to find things that weren't, especially because in these funny videos,
Yeah. Okay.
these are the more grounded ones because they're usually pretty entertaining, but they usually do something so weird that it's hard to look realistic.
Mhm.
So yeah, this one I really like because it has like a rhythm to it. Like first the cat moves and the dog's completely still.
Mhm.
So it's almost like it's staged. So the focal point is the cat, and then the dog is just looking. And then once the cat settles, the dog starts like we should focus on him,
Yeah.
and then yeah, he like starts leading with his head and like chest
Yeah.
goes up. Like you can really see the arm like straighten while the back is still like
Yeah.
coiling, and then he goes to like in just this few frames, he goes like fully straight. Yeah, like the front paws get like land first while the bottom is dragging, and then yeah, like you really see this like this arm supporting the weight, and now
Yeah.
it is kind of like like if I were to animate it, like this would be the key, like where pose where he lands, and then it has this nice like adjustment where he kind of shifts the whole like on like the root, like it just rotates and like shifts the weight to the front, so the head goes down, the hips go up.
Yeah.
So he can now go like to the left, and then you see like the weight shifts from the front left arm to the
Yeah.
left leg, and then he just goes and like do this turn, and then just this really nice like drag of the paw.
This is awesome, man. Like, yeah, this is exactly what I would do before starting to animate this shot, for example, if this was a shot. Like exactly what I would do, like a draw. I usually draw on paper, but like yeah, this is like the best planning, and then you can just transfer everything to your rig. This is great stuff. Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Very nice.
So I found this really cool, like HD horse. So it's just like the shutter speed is really fast, so like there's not motion blur, so it's pretty. You can see a lot of detail, and it's yeah, just thought it was really cool to see like the weight like shift between the back and the front, and how the high jumping like the legs get really straight, like goes like fully up, and then like they go really high, like then the arms go
Yeah.
like the energy. I don't know. There's a lot of like shifting energy between back and front, while the like he's now hanging in there, and then the arms like reach for the ground to catch himself back up, and then you see all the like the weight again, the momentum go to the front, like, and sometimes with only one leg supporting the weight,
Yeah.
and like stretch again. It's like this constant like squash and stretching the spine,
Exactly.
like you said.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, well, like in here where he only has one like leg,
Yeah.
one like the arm supporting the whole weight, and like goes fully. Yeah, it's just like pure momentum of like the legs, like the energy here, like going all the way front and then going the back again. Then he kicks and goes like squashes, like goes forward again. It's like it's constant back and forth.
Look at that head and neck coming down to go into the run. If you go a few frames back, yeah, here you see the head is leading down to go into that run, and then horses do that head and neck, this kind of circular motion when they want to gain speed. Yeah, this is crazy. And then that, yeah, very cool.
Uh, This I like just for like the contrast as well. Like it starts off really slowly, and then there's a lot of
Okay.
and yeah, it's more of a funny shot where just like they're really still, like it's
Yeah.
almost acted, and like he's really focused, and like there's this suspense of what he's gonna do, and then he just like 3 frames,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Can
I
you
mean it's really blurry, but
can you frame by frame the moment that he starts the move?
yeah.
That's good.
I don't even know what he does. Like he kind of trolls himself, like with his chest. And yeah, I found it interesting that like I had seen a video of how white cats always fall like forward, like on their paws, and then like they basically like squash and then turn.
Mhm.
And it kind of does this a bit here, where he like the chest and the hips like squash and like they kind of
Yeah, it's like the opposing force. They come together.
yeah, and then he rotates and transfers that. Yeah, and then this bit where the hips kind of go up first, and then he go down, and then the chest, the head can go up.
Very cool. Cool. You see, the orange cat, the beginning of the move, even though the main move is like, I don't know, 3 or 4 frames, there's a 3 or 4 frames of ease out from that still pose that is goes and then whoop, and then goes, which is helping like to sell the weight, because like even though a cat is very light, it still has some mass and weight to move, and it cannot go from 0 to 100 like in 2 or 3 frames. It needs those few ease out frames um, to for the weight to be believable. So this is a great example, as you said, like for the contrast between timing, like very still and then boom. Um, on top of that, in order to sell the physicality of it and for the weight to come through, you need to give it that ease out of that first pose, and then you can go fast and then do the rest. And the rest happens in the boom. It's like that. The timing is like still, and then it finishes. Yeah, that's a very good example. Cool.
Uh, yeah, I have some fun touches.
Mm.
Some just thought it was interesting, like the kind of like uh, it's not the usual like going forward. So it's kind of nice to see how he
The
like how they
side to
rear,
side, yeah,
yeah, and how they go like they go back.
yeah,
And yeah, basically the hips are always like it looks like the chest is leading, but then the hips is always driving,
yeah.
and then the hips go up, and then everything is always reacting to each other. And here he comes kind of still, and then he does this like
Look at this.
nice squash where now the arm like propels goes really straight, and I thought it was nice how the arm drags first and the chest is leading, but then the arm is like 3 frames, the arms are already here to catch him back up, and then the legs are still there, like dragging. And like this is basically the C shape of the like spine, like constantly like switching sides.
Yeah.
Yep. What's that? No, it's just this one. Yeah, really, it just does like a parkour.
Look at this guy. Just climbing.
I thought it was nice that how he always like he has some frames where he's just looking at it, like he doesn't move that much, but it's almost like he's thinking, and then he's planning out his trajectory, like it goes like as this downward tick, like just fully propels,
Yeah.
like something like chest lands first, the hips still dragging, and then he like he climbs and then doesn't even waste any time. Like he just uses that momentum to
Uses
already
the
go.
momentum. Yeah. That's cats. Like they use every bit of momentum.
There's this bit of like ninja wall run here where it's like just. This almost feels like a bit human. I don't know. It's like
Looks like a
almost like
monkey at this point, you know. It could very well be a monkey. Yeah. Oh, you see that head lead right when he's pulling himself up on the ledge. Here,
yeah.
and then you feel the weight.
Yeah, it almost looks like he loses volume. Like it's just like squashes so much, and then just like this bit where again he just takes a look before jumping, and then he goes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like even though they're not humans, they still calculate their path, and then so give whenever possible, if you give that time for to show their thinking a little bit, it adds so much believability. Like you said here, it takes a moment to calculate, okay, how much do I have to jump? Sometimes cats, when they want to do a big jump, they do a few times like this, like they almost go, but then they stop. And then they're thinking, oh, can I go? No, maybe no. Can I go? Like they do this stuff a little bit, which is exactly their thinking. Like, is it safe? Can I go? And then finally they go.
Yeah, then just goes back. But yeah, that's pretty much like me.
Nice. Cool. Thank you very much. Anybody else up for sharing their homework? No.
I haven't broken anything down, but I have some clips I can show bits of that I found interesting.
Sure.
I'm a bit disorganized though. I found loads of stuff, but I didn't get to the breaking it down section.
It's all good.
Okay, I've just hit share screen.
Yes, the green one.
You can see it?
No, not yet.
Screen.
There's a green arrow right at the bottom. It says share.
Yeah, I've just clicked it.
Ah.
Is it asking you to pick a window?
Might be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's another window that pops up and asks you which window you want to share.
Okay, got it. Okay, so this one.
There we go.
See if I can step through. This one. What caught my eye on this was that it was this pose mostly that really caught my eye. How low the head is and how the arc runs all the way through that, from the back foot here, through the spine, all the way down into the nose.
Yeah.
And what else caught my attention was that he's bunny hopping. He's not running. It's every back leg he's synced. And I found that quite not strange, but in animation we're always told never do that, and yet I found that dogs do that quite a lot. The stretch poses are great as well in this particular dog.
Yeah.
This one. Sorry, I'm a little disorganized. There was one clip here that really caught my attention. This was a really nice video comparing a small cat to a big cat. Mm. And it's amazing how similar their behaviors and their motion is. It's just that one is slower than the other. Yeah. But what really caught my eye was on this snarl, how the jaw leads and then the lips come after. It's almost like the whole expression starts at the bottom of the face and moves its way up, and then into the eyes, and the ears come down. Yeah. After the jaw.
Yeah. You see. Also, when the snarl, like is those muscles are pulling up, the eyes go into a squint.
Yeah.
Which is helping with that expression.
This one, there is a, is it this one? No, it's not this one. It's this one's quite cool. Lots of lead and follow, but it was a bit difficult to tell what was the skin and what was the what is the body reacting.
Yeah.
So, but obviously the head goes first, the ears, you get all the drag on the ears. But with the stomach, it was a bit hard to tell what was the skin, whether it was the skin that was so delayed or whether it was the actual, the jowls as well. Brilliant.
The one thing to keep in mind when looking at super slow-mos like this is to also look at the real-time speed.
Yeah.
On one of the shots I did on Cruella, I had to do this shake, and it's really interesting. Sometimes the head goes in one frame from the extreme this way to the extreme this way. I did it in 2 frames and it was too slow, and
Yeah.
I had to go like sometimes like it's usually it's 2 frames this way, 2 frames this way. Every 2 cycles there's 1 frame, like 1 frame here, the next frame here. And then we always thought that you need ease in and ease outs for every action, which is normally true. But like for this kind of stuff, like for extreme head shakes, fast head shakes, sometimes you have to go 1 frame, and then the overlap on the ears and the rest of the face is what's setting that. Because 1 frame is not like the human eye, the normal human eye. We animators have more trained eye, we can see 1 frame, but the general audience cannot detect 1 frame. But then the overlap on all the rest of the overlapping parts is what says that.
Yeah. I imagine in a situation like that, you're killing to have a smear frame.
Yeah. It depends. On the cartoony side, yes, but in VFX, we leave that to the motion blur. So the render artist like amps up the motion blur distance so that it helps with the readability of the shape.
Can they do arcs in motion blur? Can they do an arc with a motion blur? I can't remember his name. The director of The Incredibles was going on about how he wanted Pixar to develop arcs in motion blur which had arcs. I don't know if that's ever.
As far as I know, again, this is a question for a lighting rendering artist. As far as I know, the motion blur calculates straight from 1 frame to the next frame.
Yeah.
But then when you tell it to calculate subframes, then you have some flexibility where that subframes falls. I'm not sure. I have to ask someone at work. But as far as I know, it always calculates straight.
Yeah.
Unless you do subframes, unless you animate those subframes, and then in those subframes you animate it within an arc so that the motion blur calculates it.
Yeah. Okay, this has got loads of great lead and follow. The head leads.
The head leads, yeah.
And the whole body is like a snake in motion behind it. It's so cool.
Yes.
And I like how he steps with just one foot on each side almost as well. It's almost like just one foot.
Looks like the out foot catches the weight, which is enough for change of direction. The other foot just lands, poop, and then goes for the next one, you know.
Yeah. And I think he's bunny hopping again almost. Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. Let's see. This one, there was something. This is an example, I think, where you wouldn't believe it if you animated it this way. But this, hang on, I'll kill the. This cat kind of does this most bizarre sideways stretch with its paws whilst it's jumping. What? But-
Exactly. Yeah, this is something if you showed in dailies, like they would come down on you with the wrath of God. Like, what is
Yeah.
this? The cat never do this.
But there's some great examples here of this cat. No anticipation. I know he's already in an anticipation pose, but he just pops straight out of it
Yeah. Yeah.
to pounce. When you see it in real time, it's almost it almost looks like it's missing that anticipation moment.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the animator didn't pay attention to the cat.
Okay, I think that's all I'll show for now. But I did a couple of other things I noticed was horses are a lot stiffer than cats and dogs,
Yes.
especially through their spines, and a lot of them they almost turn like a barge. I found that it almost they don't as they turn they don't twist their bodies in C shapes and things like that much. It's almost like one big lump moving.
Yeah. Yeah. The horses basically they have evolved for straight speed, like speed, top speed in a straight line.
Yeah.
Whereas if you compare it to cats, cats have evolved for agility because that's what they need to hunt. They need to be able to change direction quickly, climb up, jump down, do all that stuff that is required to basically survive. Horses, on the other hand, they just need top speed to get the hell out of there whenever they're being chased by a predator. Yeah, that's a great observation there.
Okay, thank you.
Cool, thank you very much. Okay. Anybody else up for sharing? Or if not, we can start with our walk cycle for this beautiful lion that we have here. Okay, if you guys had a chance to take a look at the rigs, again, these are free rigs, so they're not the best. However, the way I would suggest to set them up is to use IK for head for chest and hips, and then to use FK for the neck, and to also set it to wall space so that when you rotate the chest, the head doesn't inherit the rotation. And then for the legs, we set them to wall space again so that we can move the body and the legs would stay in place, the feet. And then the rest is good. The tail again, I suggest putting it in wall space so that we wouldn't need to counter animate it whenever we rotate the hips. Usually that's how I would set up my my rigs when I want to start a shot. Now this rig doesn't have the ability for that, but at work we have like a FK-IK switch. Usually I start with the legs in FK so that they just follow the body wherever the body goes, because I animate the body first, and then I bake that onto an IK, so then I can just do the steps for the next pass. However, here for our first exercise, we don't have that. Also, I always suggest to start from 1001 because if ever you need some pre-roll, if you want to put skin or muscle simulation, you have enough frames for pre-roll in that case. And then enough. Okay, now I have some refs for a lion walk that we can take a look together. And then now I didn't do any pre-study of this ref, just so we can go through it together, and you guys would see all the mistakes that I make as part of the process. From next week, I'm gonna do some preparation like before, like put some poses. But I thought for our first demonstration, it's good that like you guys see all the pain and suffering that it takes from the scratch. So anyway, we have a walk cycle. Usually I find it on YouTube, and then the next step I do is that I try to find one full cycle that I can go from one frame to the next from the frame from the beginning to the end, and the both poses look relatively similar. Maybe if we say, I usually find the first contact frame of the front paw, for example, this one, frame 200, and then I go back to find the same frame, which then I will use for the cycle. So the same frame would be around, it's hard to see it with motion blur, but it's either this or this. Let's say this one. So we have a cycle which is around 47 frames, or one full cycle of the walk. And then after that, I just export this as full cycle. So I have it as a separate file, so that I can frame through it. And now the question is, where did I save it? It's always good to have it as on box. Okay, so now we have this, which is basically like the first step for, and then I would spend some time to study it. Now I've animated lions before, so I already know a few like the fundamentals, but it's always good to check it together. If you look at the hips, and the most important thing that I always look at first is the up and down. It's that bouncing ball effect of the hips, which is what sells the weight. You see the hips right like 3 frames, 4 frames before this leg is going to contact, is at its highest point, comes down, and then there's a very pronounced bounce as the hip is coming down, boom, goes up, stays up, and then for the next one comes down with the bounce. And then the next thing I look at is the rotation X, usually is the RX, is rotation in this axis, which happens when the leg is coming forward. You can see it from here, frame 33 to 39. You see the hip is rotating this way so that it can allow for the maximum distance of this leg coming forward to get to that contact pose. And then the extreme side of it is around here, which has the most the other way, like the other side of the curve is around here, right before this leg wants to roll off the ground, which again is allowing for this distance to happen. After that, I look at the chest to find the up and downs of the chest. If you look at the chest, I usually look at this line here and then follow it with my eye to this line to see the up and down. Looks like as this leg is passing and the other leg has the weight, the chest goes up. From 2 frames before this one wants to contact, starts to come down, reaches its extreme TY 3-4 frames after the leg contacts, which is here. And then one interesting thing to see, which happens with lions and with dogs, but is very more pronounced with lions because of their massive shoulder muscles, is that what stops, you see the chest is going down from here to here. You can see the chest going down. At the same time, the shoulder is going up and that arm is catching the weight. And that shoulder reaching the maximum is what actually stops the chest from going any further down. So if it wasn't for that leg, the chest would continue to go down and just fall to the ground. But that leg and that shoulder blade and shoulder muscle reaching the extreme here is what keeps the chest and holds it up, keeps it for that down position. And then with the push off, the next step, the chest goes into the next cycle of the up and down. And then once I look at the chest, I go to the head. Now you see the head has some up and down, which is almost similar to the chest, except for a little bit of offset on the down pose, on the extreme down pose, which happens, you see, is in these 2 frames, frame 26 to 28. The chest has stopped moving down. This has reached this extreme down, but the head is still going. Then the head stops. So there's a little bit of 2 frame offset between the chest and the head where it goes boom, boom, boom. Which is again the same principle we talked about, different points in a quadruped body not moving at the same time, which happens a lot, especially in walks. I look at the tail. Now in this example, the tail has just one main pose and has a little bit of side to side overlap to it, just enough that it doesn't feel like it's locked to the hips. And then at the very last, I look at the legs, because the legs are basically not like, they just do what they do. They're not very important for the blocking stage, and they do the same thing every time. For the cats, one thing that is very interesting is that flopping of the paws as the legs come, as the front legs come forward. So they just like, it feels like the paws don't have any life of their own. It's like they're just flopping on the ground, and like the driving force comes from the wrist basically, and then boom, then boom. And this is something that you see here. It just goes almost into a 90 degrees and then flops to catch the weight. Same with the other one. The back legs have a different setup, but they're basically doing the same thing. And they lift just enough for the toes to clear the ground. And then they land, and when they catch the weight, you see, again, that squash and stretch we talked about, when they land, granted, it's not like a straight line, but it's relatively straight compared to when they catch the weight, and you see a little bit more bent through it, which is again straight versus curves or straight versus bent. Doesn't always have to be straight line or a complete bend line, but as long as you feel the difference, you can sell it. You can sell the feeling of the weight and the change of shape that you need for the legs and for the arms. So at this point, I just put this to the side. For the blocking, I always suggest that one thing I do is that use the minimum controls to get the most out of it. And then you can always go after it. Once you have a solid base for your animation, you can go in and add more on top of it, add the jiggles, add all the small rotations, add all the secondary actions, overlap, follow through. But for the blocking pass, it's always good if you use as few controls as possible to get the most bang for your buck and to get to that first pass faster. So let me clear some space on my, get this guy, okay. So we need one first pose for this guy. I just quickly pose the tail so that it's not straight out of the gate, because it's very distracting when you. And then with this rig, because it's not the best rig, usually just rotating the controls should be enough. In this case, it's giving us some not very pleasing shapes. So you may need to just move them a little bit as well. So I look at the ref. The ref looks like the tail goes down, and then from around here, it starts to roll back. Now we can always go in and refine the shape, but for the blocking, something like this should suffice. The main problem is here with this joint. It's not very well designed. Something like this should be enough. Okay, next up, one pose for the legs. And I look at the first contact pose, which is for the back legs, is this one. For the cycle, usually it's good to move it, to animate it in place with the feet sliding back. Just remember to always have them move in a linear curve, so that when you transfer it to the animal, to the rig walking 3D space, you can animate it with the global, and it wouldn't mess up your animation. So in this case, just moving this guy up, but remember, we also have to rotate this to get a little bit of that more straight shape that we talked about. For this pass, I'm not going to worry too much about the like looking at it from the front. Once we have a pass that is working from the side, I can I can go to the front and do all the side to sides, which is more or less straightforward. And then for this guy, it's something like that, which we already have. Again, we need a little bit of this. And then, okay. Now, how many frames do we have for the up and down of the hips? Looks like 7 frames going up, 5 frames going down. Something like that. I just go in and built it right from get-go. Let's say 8 frames, something like that. Usually it's good that I do this at the beginning when you open the rig. You want to lower the TY because that's what actually happens in reality. When they walk, the whole body is a little bit lower to the ground so that the legs can have their maximum reach for each step. And then I would say TY go up that, and then TY comes down. And then I play it to see how it feels. That. Something like this. 10, 29. This is our cycle. Okay, it's a little bit too fast. 1, add 2 frames to it. One frustrating thing with Zoom is that it cannot share two monitors at the same time. I usually have my graph editor on the other side. Now here I don't have it, so I have to keep dragging it here. Let's see how this feels. Okay, this feels better. The timing for a lion. Now, if this was a cat, like the timing would be faster than this. Boom, boom, boom. Because it's a lion, you have to sell the weight. We slow everything down. Boom. Okay, and now after this, I go back to the ref, and not this guy, and just do a first pass on the legs. There we go. Okay, and I can always change the timing of them, but it's good to see how many frames it takes. So if, let's say, this is a push off for this leg, frame 25, almost 14 frames from lift, like from push off to contact. So here we do the same, go to this frame, bring the guy forward, and on top of it, sorry to key this guy as well. Something like this. And then I just go right in the middle. It's the blocking. I don't care about all the details. Lift it up, rotate it down, and Just a little bit of that. And then from here, 15 frames later or 16 frames later, we go back to the same. Not bad for 10 minutes blocking for the legs. Now we do the same for this guy. Now let's see if I can copy paste animation of these two guys and these guys. Nice. How do we do that? Yes. There we go. And we just grab the whole thing. Graph editor. Grab all the keys. Offset by 15 frames. Yeah, let's see what it gives us. Okay. Now, the offset here. Now, set it by 15. This. Let's see what we have. Okay. Now the timing of the up and down is not completely good. Yeah. The up and down is happening too fast. As you remember from the ref, oops, sorry. When the foot contacts, boom, in this frame, 1, 2, 3 frames after the hips reach the down pose, which would be if this is the contact, I need, right now is 1 frame, I need 2, let's see how 2 frames looks like. Now I need 1 more. Where did my 1 more? Yeah, this feels better. Okay, now one thing is wrong about this. Let me reopen that one to get rid of the. One thing that's wrong about this one is that, which is a mistake that I usually make, and I see some people make, is that as soon as when you offset, copy the animation from one leg to the other, and then you offset, what happens is that as soon as the front leg lands, the other one lifts. It's like this. But in reality, there's at least 3 or 4 frames where both legs are on the ground and it's just the body moving, which you can see in the ref. If you look at the hips and the back legs, in this frame, we have the contact, both feet are on the ground, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames later, the back leg rolls off the ground and lifts. It's something we have to build into this. That means after this frame, which we have the contact, we grab all our guys, say 5, too much, but basically here we would need this leg to be, say, 3 frames. Here we would need this leg to be here, so that in those 3 frames can go from here to here. That doesn't look right. Okay, added 3 frames. Oh. I guess graph editor back to, and then this is the roll off, which I imagine this leg would go further back. At the same time, we would go off the ground. If we have foot roll on this rig, not that one. Okay, looks like we have to do it the hard way. Okay, so that's not too fast. That means graph editor TZ is picking up speed here, which you can see. So I just delete the TZ on this guy. Now it's more smooth. Okay. And then of course here we have to clean it up. Here. And then everything after. This is our contact. Should be the same as this one, which is not. It's okay. It's the same as this one. Yes. And now it's better. Now I just copy paste this to the last frame. And okay, we have one leg working with the hip, almost, not completely. We have to go back to clean up the hip, TY, which is now, this is contact 1, 3, it's here, then okay. Now, the hip timing is not working. It's been so long since the last 4 films we worked on at work, all has been canine, dogs. Lady and the Tramp, Cruella, Clifford the Big Red Dog. It's been so long since I animated a cat. That's why you can see
Kavit, quick question while you're animating there. Are
Yep.
you at the studio, do you guys use Animbot or tools that are in-house that do similar things?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a little bit old school. I don't use them, but and yeah, it's to my own demise because as you can see, I struggle with this stuff. But yes, like most of the team use Animbots um, for faster for better results. Yeah, but as you can see, I have to. I've been trying to find some time to learn it, but it's been impossible. But yes, please use the tools to your advantage. Contact 3 more frames. Contact 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then let me quickly do the other leg. At least it's in a good place. Both of them. So this guy, extreme should come from here. I copy paste the Z so that they have the same value. Then that. Okay, something's not right about the timing of this. We can come back to it once we have our rest. Imagine it's this guy here. Yeah, this is better. Okay. Yeah, here we have too many frames for the TY going down, which is taking away from the weight field. Usually you want to feel the bounce in the hips. Yeah, too many frames. Should be something like this. Bounce. Yeah, it goes back up. Yeah, this feels a little bit better. We can come back to it once we have the whole body worked out. Now, while we're on the hips, quickly, we can go and do the side to side. But now the side to side is very easy, as well as the rotations. It's just to allow for a little bit more information. Quickly, RY, I go to the top, RY rotates for the leg to come forward. Now, you don't need to finesse it at this point, just enough so that You have information there. This is 13. Copy. Minus 13. Something like this will already give us some information to visually see, and then the side to side. Every time I have to close my graph. Here, as this leg is coming forward, I will say around here, which is the extreme for TX to go on the other side, like this, so that the weight could be on this leg while this leg is coming forward. And then here would be the extreme for the opposite side, which is then never always remember to do it like this. That only have to make sure the same. It's a little bit. Okay, it's not too bad. We can live with this for now. And then the RZ, while we're here, let's just get it over, which happens as this leg lifts from here. 1, 2, 3, usually 3 frames. The hips drop in RZ rotation, like this, so that it boom goes down because that foot is lifting and there's nothing to support the weight on that side. They drop, they go back up around here. So it's relatively quick as they correct themselves. And then when they're reaching for that contact, again, they go back down, like this, and then the whole thing goes to the other side with the cycle. Let's say contact is this frame. So then 3 frames, go the other way, like that. 4 frames, they come back to settle a little bit, just like the other side. 4 frames. Let's see how it looks. A little too much. Needs to be less because of this guy. It's weight. This one is too fat, too soon. This leg. 4. Then goes. Timing again is not perfect. You have to timing. Okay, for a rough blocking pass, not bad. We have something that's working. From the top, it's not bad. Let's check our ref again. Okay, we can move on to the chest. Let's see.
Do you look for figures of 8 in creature stuff? Or is that just for cartoony?
For the legs or
For the hip motion?
yes, yes. Especially when you look at it from the back, if you look at the tail point here, yes, it goes through a figure 8 where boom, 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 it goes like this, which is the combination of the side to side, up and down, and the rotation Y and the rotation Z. When they all work together, you see a kind of a figure 8 motion if you follow one point. Yeah, that's something that happens.
Does that echo in the chest as well?
In the chest, yes, because the chest has all the same motions, but it's a lot less pronounced.
Okay.
Like you see, when you compare the hips have that very noticeable bounce and that RY, which is less for the chest. The chest is a little bit more rigid because it's connected to the rib cage and the whole midsection, whereas the hip have more range of motion. But yes, also it's something that you see in the head. When you look at it from the front, it has that figure 8 as it bounces and then goes side to side.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Okay, now let's see the chest. Now the chest up and down, where do we put the up and down? It feels like the down, extreme down, is like 1 or 2 frames after the hip's highest point. Now let's see if this is the hip's highest point. You can see like this. See, here is chest down. Let's see if that works. A lot of this stuff, because the refs of the animals, because they don't care about staying one angle when we shoot ref for them. You have to. It's a little bit of guesswork. You have to put the timing there, see how it feels, move it around to find what feels good. As we're doing now. If this is the hip, chest down, let's see here. No, too fast. Actually, something I just remembered is that whenever it's a little bit difficult to find the up and down of the chest, it's one way around it is to do one of the front legs, which you can easily do, and their relationship as far as the timing with the back leg, and then by that way you are sure, because you always know that the up and down of the chest happens with 2 or 3 frames offset after each front leg lands. So when the front leg lands, depending on the creature and how heavy or light they are, the chest after 2 or 3 frames hits the TY extreme low, boom. So right now, which is a little bit hard to see the timing of them, I'm gonna use this technique to do one of the legs. Now, let's see. this is the contact. 1, 2, 3, 3 frames before this leg contacts. We have the lift off for the same side front leg. Now, all I have to do is I find the contact, which is here, 3 frames before, 10:32 is the lift off, which I can do. Now, for the front legs, when you want to do the extreme poses, always remember to do it with the shoulders, because shoulders have a big range of motion, like not laterally, but like from the front and back, that would allow for more reach. Like here, if I just move the IK back, I get this much, and then the legs start to break the shape. But on top of that, if I select the shoulder and I move the shoulder back, which is something that happens, and then move the shoulder lower, you see then that I get a lot more range with the leg, with the front leg, which is what happens in the real walk. You see where this foot is right now is almost where the back foot lands. So like they have a little bit of overlap. Should be what we get. Now here I'm not getting that, and that's because I'm not using the rotation RY of the chest. I will do that later and readjust. But for now, I would say this should work for blocking. Now always remember to do this a little bit to shape it. And then shoulder, do we have rotation for the shoulder? It's not giving us much, but just a minute. Okay, so this is where that foot lifts to go forward. And then I go here, and I count the frames, cheat the hell out of it. Let's say this is the frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's almost the same timing. 15 frames later, we have the contact frame. Which is around 10:13, is where it would land in the front. Always remember to zero out your shoulder as well and push it forward. In fact, shoulder goes to the front and also drops down again to allow for that maximum reach for each step. As you can see, this rig doesn't have the best corrective bench shapes, but should be good enough. Now, one thing to pay attention when you're posing is that how far the relationship between where the foot lands and where the head is. Now you see when it's land, it's not perfectly profiled here, but it's almost like the tip is somewhere in the middle of the head, a little to the back. Here you see I pushed it too far, so I have to bring it back a little bit. So around here, and then I bring it back to the shoulder as well. And then I also look at this angle. This part of the arm looks like it's almost vertical, and then from here it goes forward. The shape of it. Just zero out the shoulder. That feels better. Just words, something like this. Then from here it goes back, comes to the front. Something's happening. Just these keys for now. But and then it's easy. That okay, and just to get something going here. Remember the legs, the front paws when they lift, especially for big cats, do a complete flop, something like this. This is too fast, so it should need to happen over more frames. Okay, that. Then we need a frame here. Let's higher a little bit. RX is almost not this one again. Needs better correctives. Let's take this for now. This like that. And then contact slash more straight. Okay, the midpoint, something to see where the midpoint is. This is interesting. So, this part is see the angle of the upper arm is a little bit like that. This guy is not completely vertical to the ground, and then this part is like this. So we have boom, boom, boom. And is the passing pose where one leg is passing in front of the other one, which is like around here, and we don't have near that shape right now. We need to get something more like this. Still don't have it. Let's see why. Let's go further back. Of course, the shoulder. What's happening with the shoulder? Shoulder drops. That's the thing. You see here, up until the last moment where the shoulder is supporting the weight, shoulder is up. In the next 3 frames where the leg is lifting, the shoulder drops because it doesn't need to support the weight anymore. Boom. So at this point, the shoulder is at its lowest, which is one of our extremes. So now, Tx. Shoulder drop. Shoulder goes up. Shoulder should not go up here. It should stay down. This after it catches the weight, shoulder goes up. It stays up. And comes down. Okay. Now the timing between the back and front, is it working now? Is it's not bad for a blocking. We can live with it. Now that we have this, we can go back to the up and down of the chest. Let me save my beautiful animation so I don't lose it, sorry. Minus arc 1. Cool. Okay. Contact here, let's say 3 frames later, we have the extreme TY of the chest down. Now also to remember the chest TY, the amplitude is always less than the hips TY. For the cats, when you look at it, the hip U is more pronounced, the TY of the hips, the chest is less. And then we go back to our ref to see where its highest point is. The highest point is seems to be around here, right? Like 2 or 3 frames after the passing pose, where one leg passed in front of the other. Find that frame, let's say here, it's our highest point. This. Okay, not bad. It's giving us a little bit of weight now. Okay, and then something like this. Okay. Okay, now we do the other leg, and after that we do the head and the neck, and we have a very rough blocking pass, which is like it has a lot of problems, but you need to power through that first blocking pass and not be very perfectionist for that first pass. It has a lot of problems. You have to do it so that you can go back to it and start fixing the issues, and then do another pass, and then as you work on it, you can see it take shape and come together. Anyway, let's see. So we said 3 frames before contact, right? If that's the back leg contact there. 4 frames. Okay, this is 3 frames. It's fine. Let's see if we can copy paste the animation. We have this guy. Copy. Paste. Now we have the same. But we know we have a 15 or 16 frame offset between the two. So if we grab everybody, move them (15 frames earlier), we would get yes, something nice. And then okay, one thing is that I forgot to copy paste the shoulder. And then the same offset. And then something broke because the right and left shoulder don't have the same um, front and back, looks like. We will make a ticket for the rigging department to fix this. This is a free rig, so there will be no fix coming, unfortunately. It's the TY, right? Yeah, the TY is the opposite. So this.
What control's broken?
Looks like the TY of the shoulder from left to right don't have the same back and forth. Not
Okay.
sure. Yeah, you see, the TX that moves back the shoulder on the right side moves the other shoulder to the front. So we cannot move them like we use. Like TC on both legs, back and forth is the same, but it's not like that for the shoulder. Did I actually use the correct? This guy and this guy. Maybe I made a mistake. Yeah, no, they don't have this. Okay. Okay. No worries. Here we need the shoulder to be back. Oh, what is this? Okay, something is very wrong about this shoulder. I have to investigate, but for now, we can live with this. Yeah, the right shoulder feels much better. Anyway, now we go back to the chest. We add the RZ and RY, which is going to help us. If you remember, in that Glenn Keane handout, he mentioned that quadrupeds always have that wavy, if you look at them from the top, have that wavy reversals in the line of action from one leg to the other. Now we have it here because we're using the rotation of the hips, but we don't have it on the chest. So I delete all these extra keys. I have to find the extremes. I think this is one of the extremes here, where the chest would be like that. And then the other extreme is around here, where we go the opposite. And grab these two guys here. Voila. I see. That's not sure. As it's going back, it's okay. Now we would get a little bit of that reversal, but it's not complete because we don't have the side-to-side TX of the chest as it's moving through. Okay, one other thing we forgot to do, as the expression goes, catwalk, no matter how big or small, cats always the placement of their feet is very close to one line. Like they place them on the same line. Let me find. I think I have a ref for it. Look at them from the front, like you see, they almost cross the front legs. One comes crossing the other one, which is what they call catwalk for, like the models when they walk on the runway. So that's something we have to remember. Do that now. Just grab all the TX, bring it down here. Grab all the TX here. Again, we can go back and finesse, refine. At this point, my main goal is to get through this first blocking pass as fast as possible so I can go back and fix it. Now, we're going to add the side to side for the chest. You have to first identify the extreme. I would say around here when the foot is passing is the extreme for TX the side. Now again, remember with the chest, we always want to go less than the hips in all the curves. And then here would be the other one. So let's that. Okay, not bad. One thing I probably didn't pay attention to is, well, in this particular ref, you see there's this curve from the profile when you look at the lion. which we don't have it here. So I just move this guy down a little bit. So we have a very not so appealing deformation here. So this, and then also the chest should be a little bit more compared to the hips. Just a little bit higher. And okay, now we go to the head and neck. Now in this guy, you see the head is kind of low as he's walking. So actually the angle of the shoulder blades is like coming down. The head is not, then the head goes down. So we have this to here and then this to here. Which right now we don't have. Quickly. Oh, wait a minute. Again, one of the things this rig doesn't have is the world versus global 10. Okay. Ah, sorry, my bad. If I put this to 10, there we go. No, I don't want the head to turn this. Ah, okay. There it is. Okay, you see we have some not so appealing shapes here, but try to do it as best as we can. Yeah, we shouldn't get this bump here. However, compare with the ref, it's not too bad. At least we have somewhat of the same angle. Usually you should never move the shoulder, the neck, the base neck joint, like you shouldn't translate it, because when you look at the bone structure, it's like a solid bone connecting from the spine to the neck, and it cannot move in translation. So, but in this case, we're not getting the shape that we want, so I'm just gonna move it. But usually when you use FK neck, try to always use rotation. And then like for the final polish, if we want to get a little bit of squash and stretch, only use the head translation to get that. At least we have the relatively same angle. Now let's see the up and down. Close that so we can open it again. Okay, up and down of the head. The head goes up here in 4 frames, right before that front paw lifts off the ground, comes down, but the bounce happens. That's contact. If contact is 40, looks like 3 frames after contact, the head has this extreme TY down. So that key falls on that. So if we use this, we can use this, we have to use use this. Okay, so this is let's see here. It's the extreme RZ. Then it goes back up. Until here it goes a little down, but the bounce happens. Contact this and like this. Maybe we can add something here. Just shape. So let's see if it's working. Yeah, it's a little fast though, coming back up. And it's because of this guy. Get rid of it. This. Okay, that. Where was the chest TY? Because the head should get there 1 or 2 frames later, which is not happening now. Oh yeah. Okay. Need to bring everything maybe within 2 frames later. This step is working. So contact is here. So if I just copy this and go here, paste. Okay, that. But again, this is coming up fast. Copy paste. Voila. No, not working. Okay, something's wrong with our timing because contact is here. So this should be that. 2 frames later, I have to go to that. Okay. Okay. It's this step that's not working right now, but we can define it later as long as we have the main movements. Okay. Which we kind of do. Cool. So you see, like we started at what time did we start this one? 1 hour ago, a little bit more. in a little bit over 1 hour, we have a first pass plugin, which has a lot of problems, but like this is what we need for it to actually start working on it. So what I usually do is just power through this, don't pay attention to, it has a lot of problems, because once I have this, then I can go back to the hips again and start really refining the timing, refining the rotations, do the same pass all over again. Back leg, chest, front leg, neck, head. The second pass, suddenly everything comes together. And then for the third pass, you start to do a little bit of jiggles, a little bit of all that finessing of the side to side, the toes, the tail. So this rig in particular has these controls, which the rigger has put there to kind of simulate the muscle without it having actually muscles. So for example, we can just do one of them right now. So for example, here, when we have this contact, right before I do that, just something to remember is that once you go to your second pass for the legs, always remember that to add more weight, it's always better to not have the feet land with a linear ty, and by that I mean if this is your ty, if you have here one key, then one key here, then one key here, sorry, one key here, as it eases in, this has less weight versus something like this, where the ty lands a little bit more sharper instead of easing in. Maybe we can see it in the ref too. You see how if you follow these joints, which let's call it the wrist, which is not the wrist actually, but you see it comes up, and then stays up in 2 frames. See how much it goes down. It feels like if you graph its arc, it's come up and then boom, lands. Which when you look at it in continuity, it has that feeling of boom, 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 which sells the weight. We can see it better here, where in 3 frames, it goes from here to here, and it lands more vertical, and it doesn't ease into the TY, which is usually what you get for your first pass, because Maya auto tangents everything, so you get that ease in. But usually what you want to do is set one key here, put it there, and then what I personally do, I just break the tangents here, and do it like that a little bit, so that you would get a bit more sharper landing. Still not enough, needs to be a lot more. Yeah, this one's feels better. Okay. And then I would just do a little bit of jiggle. Like this is for the last pass, but because we're running out of time here, I'll just do it on this leg very quickly. Usually what happens is that when it lands, 2 frame, 2 frame, 3 frame. And for the first 2 frame, let's say it goes out, and then it goes in, and then it settles. And then something to always do is that never leave it to Maya to put that in between frame. At least for fast moves like a jiggle, you want to always favor the next frame, and then something like this. get that boom. Now, on top of that, you can add a little bit of back and forth to it as well. So 3 frames, it can go to the front a little bit. So that's TZ. Again, the first frame would go most of the way, and then in 4 frames it can come back and something like this. And let's see how it looks. So I just show the polygons. See, you get a little bit of that jiggle. Now, imagine if you added on all those little controls. That's like is a poor man's version of the muscle system. Then you would get all those jiggles, and those jiggles add a lot to the weight, because it's something that you see in a real tiger, or sorry, a lion as well. Like if you look at this part here, and you see where when the leg lands, boom, you see that. And it's a great tool to sell the weight. Boom. Now on top of that, for that last pass, when you do a second pass, clean up everything, get to that, it's always good to add rotations to the head. Now, right now, because usually like you have to work out the physicality of the body, but the most interesting part of every animal, like every human, is the face. Like you get the most exciting kick out of, especially a predator, of the face. And so you want to spend more time on the head and the face. For example, in a walk, to get all that little rotations. For example, when the foot lands, you get that boom, boom. We can see it here, maybe in this ref better. Let me see. Yeah, you can see it here. You see, if you look at the eyes, the line that connects the eyes as an indication of the RZ of the head. Right now you have like this, and then as the head is coming down, it's rotating to be like this. This side is going up, this side is going down. See, from almost level here to this, and then in 3 frames, because it's absorbing the impact of the landing, it goes to this side a little bit, from this to this, and then it levels out again as it comes up. And then this happens on every step. Sorry. And then also keep in mind, for all the predators, you always want to have not too much overlapping on the head, because that's one of the main characteristics of them, as we talked about. They always are focused on one thing. You can have change of direction for the head, like they look to one side, they look to one side, but the head always more or less stays level, because they have to focus it. Like you don't have too much overlap like this when they walk. So for example, here, if I want to add a little bit of RX, oh, sorry. At work, I have all my icons set up on one side, but here at home, I've been lazy, I haven't set them on it. So usually what I do for all the rotations, I do them big first, like exaggerate, so I can find the right timing for them, and then I grab all the keys and scale them way down, just for us to feel it and not see it. So for example, here I would go see where the TY is, which is RZ of this guy. So here, let's say 2 frames later, we would have the extreme of the RX. Oh, sorry, it's not RX, it's RZ. This. And then goes back up to here. Here, now this one I exaggerate. And that it's kind of working. Again, in this first pass, don't get bogged down on working everything to perfection. Just power through so that you can get something done. Okay, let's see. Again, I go back, I find extreme. 2 frames later, I want the RZ to be that. Here is contact. Contact here. 4 frames before. So you see that little bit of RX overlap versus the TY is adding some good stuff for us. Then I just copy this here. We have to clean up this part because right now it's not matching. And it's not matching this contact. Yeah, something's wrong with my timing from the beginning. But anyway. So you see we have a little bit of that RZ, sorry, but it's the same. And then I would go in and add the RZ to it as well. Oh man, time flies so fast. I was hoping to do a walk and a run today. We're barely finishing the walk. By the way, please, homework, guys. This walk cycle, I know it's not something you would do and put it on your reel. But it's gonna teach you, you're gonna learn a lot by going through a walk cycle and going through a run cycle. And I know it depends on how much time you have during your week, but please don't be satisfied with just a rough blocking pass. Here we have to go through it because we don't have like 5 or 6 hours to go through that polished pass. But if you have the time, do like 3 passes, blocking pass, take some time, come back to it, next pass. It's gonna teach you so much as you do them versus if you just do one pass and leave it. So please, if you have the time, I would highly recommend you just go through it all the way, like polish it as if your life depended on it, like every little pixel, polish it, because it's a great learning tool. I wanted to do the RZ now. RZ this.
I had a quick question on this. When you're doing a blocking like this, basically stationary, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you then later translating it and then just rebaking the animation on the other controller so that it's translating, or just animating the root controller to follow a path?
Yeah, it depends on the shot. Usually, when you have like, it depends on the shot, but for this one, if I have a shot, let's say the lion is walking until a point and then it stops, yes, I would just put it on a path. I use the same cycle. Now, when you bring it in, it's not gonna, like, there will be some sliding on the feet, The body would not be perfect, but at least it gives you a good starting point, and then you can go back and clean it up.
Mhm.
Because that's the thing. Working out all these little things stationary is much more easier and to see versus if it was moving. When it starts moving in 3D space, then it's much more difficult to adjust all these little rotations, all the things you want to finesse. Whereas in one place, like cycling in one place, it's much easier. Um, so yeah.
So following that train of thought, let's say that you have a shot where you're doing the blocking for the, I'm guessing you're going to do it for a walk, and let's say walk and then it goes to a trot or a jog or something, right?
Mhm.
You would work it out and flush it out up to like a blocking plus state and then polish it once it's actually translating in space, or would you take it into polish
I would
and then
polish it.
you
I
would
would
polish it all the
polish it.
way?
I would polish it all the way. And then because again, polishing it when it's moving, it's
It'll
it's
be
it's,
hard.
it's not easy. You know,
Okay.
I would polish it all the way. I would do one walk and one trot.
Okay.
Usually we do it in pre-production, so it's already there when you get
Mhm.
your shots. But let's say it's a personal project, yes. Walk all the way polish, trot all the way polish, put them in the shot, put the blocking. The transition between the two would be very ugly right off the bat.
Yeah.
Um, but at least I know once I do a first cleanup pass, the rest is like 90% there. And
Gotcha.
yeah, it's much easier. Um, okay, let's see quickly before we run out of time. Just add a little bit. Now, the first blocking pass is the most unenjoyable task in the world for any shot. I hate it. But the polish pass, I love it because it's working and I go in and I finesse a little frame. Oh, that's good. It's it's like I don't know, the ice cream after you go to after the medicine, after you go to take a shot, and then your mom says, "Oh, when you're a kid, after you get you get the shot, you get ice cream." For me at least, it's like that. Okay, let's quickly see. It goes down. Contact is here. I would use just doing from this leg. Contact. So 3 frames later, I want to let this. And then here I want to let this. Maybe. I think I'm doing it wrong way. Let's do that quickly. Yeah. The right front leg is coming forward. It's going that way and then goes. Okay. So for this one, we should go the other way. Okay. So this. So we come here as the foot lands and then goes. Now we have this is too much. Let's get it down. This. And then comes back again to this side as it levels out for the next step. If you just look at this one step, yeah, it's something like that. And then on top of that, for the polish pass, remember to add a little bit of jaw overlap. Actually, you have to have the mouth open a little bit. Usually they have the mouth open because it's hot. This guy has a little bit of tongue action when the tongue comes out and does a quick lick, which is a great detail. If you would add, I would be very happy next week if you show me. Hey, oh, this one. Add this one if you want. Oh, look at that. And the tongue action for dogs, cats, big cats is very quick. The transition when it comes out and when it goes in is very quick, and then the part when it's actually flattens out on the animal's lip, it has a little bit more time to it. So if you look at this, you see here, we see the tongue, the first frame, 1, 2, 3, 4 frames, it's already flat on the nose. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 frames is moving from there to there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames disappears. Quick, a little bit of time, and then quick. And then the mouth closes after the tongue. Sometimes Zoom kicked me out, or okay, we're still going. Yeah, and the mouth closes right after. I think our time ran out. I don't know. Anyway, this rig has a tongue, I imagine. Oh shit! No, it has. Okay, it has a tongue. No, it's the teeth. Yes, we have. Okay, we have a tongue. So if you're up for it, if you want to add it, please add it. And then on top of it, what I usually do is that I put the head and neck and chest on a anim layer, and on top of the walk cycle, add some look around, so that because it cannot be on the cycle because it would repeat itself on each step. Usually what we do at work to sell, like we do a cycle to show to the director, like in pre-production, and it's always helped where if the animal has some secondary action on top of the cycle. Like you do the cycle, you're happy with it, on an anim layer you add some looks around, like you add a lick, you add some ear action, you add some imperfections to the cycle. It goes a little bit off course, it comes back, and it adds another touch of believability, especially when you're going for a hyper realistic style of animation. Cool.
I have a quick question. This is just for my own personal curiosity. On something like this, so let's say you assign this to somebody on your team, right? If you want to see a walk cycle and a run cycle, what type of time frame usually? I know it depends on the show.
Yeah. But
like, what's a turnaround average that you would expect for, let's say, like a junior or mid animator to be able to get that out?
Yeah, I would say for something like this, it's usually 1 day blocking, 1 day polish. So like yeah, like if you have a 8-hour working day, you should be able to block it out, like a blocking plus. Like what we did is like a rough blocking. You should be able to do another pass on it in 1 day, and then we would look at it dailies, and then we talk about it, we see where it needs more work, and then give some feedback to the animator, and then the next day they would go in, do the notes, do all the polish that they want to do, and by the end of the second day we should already have a version that's like 90% done, so that we can show to the director.
Okay.
Just in case. Yeah. Cool. Any question, guys?
So walk and run cycle, right? If possible.
Yes. Okay. So if there's no question, yes. For next week, homework. Walk cycle, lion, run cycle, and then please polish it as best as you can. Don't just be satisfied with do a blocking pass. Yeah, polish it as best as you can. If possible, make a image plane and put it in your daily. So let's say you do a play blast of your animation, and if you can just make a image plane of your ref, put it on one corner, so that when we look at it together, we can see the ref that you used, and we can see your animation. It's much easier to compare, and then like we can look at it together and see like the areas that can be improved. So yeah, that's the ideal way. On top of that, please do the exercise of the refs as you did last week. For our new joiners, please watch the video, the recording from last week, if you haven't already, and then do the refs like we talked about, finding some refs for canine, for feline, and for horse family, and just a short clip, and then breaking down, find the main poses, find the leads, find the follows, which again, it's a great exercise to help train the eye to start seeing all the details and all the subtleties. And then yes, Sync Sketch is a great place, because we can, like, frame by frame, we can draw on it. So if you want to upload to Sync Sketch, and I believe it's free, right? It's not. Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Oh,
If you
thank
have
you.
any questions,
week.
I'm on Discord if you want to send me a message, or if you manage to get it done sooner, I'm always happy to look at it before next class. Cool.
Cool. Thank you
very
so much.
Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Good week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.